Hey guys, so the other day we butchered out 8 of our grow-out rabbits, so I figured we would put together a quick little video about how I break them down and how I process them out and I package them. I'm filming by myself, Mark's not here today, so hopefully it comes out okay, hopefully I can do it all in one shot, but here we go. Okay, so here he is. He, or she, I don't know which it was, is one of 8 that we went ahead and butchered. This was our first litter at the new house. I think he was like 12 years old, I believe, or not 12 years old, but 12 weeks when we did this last one. Right around 5 pounds, probably a little bit over live weight. I'm not sure what they are butcher weight because I didn't, I haven't weighed them since being butchered. So first thing, what I'm doing right now is I will go over and I will clean off all the fat. Rabbits don't have the greatest fat culinary wise. It doesn't taste the greatest. It just kind of turns into little boogery, jubbly type things when it cooks. It doesn't melt down like a chicken fat or like a pork fat or anything like that, and really doesn't offer a whole lot of flavor. So I always pull it out, and since I make soap, I always pull it out and I reserve it for rendering down to make into soap. And if you wanted to do that, you render it down basically the same way you render down any type of animal fat. I'll usually grind it in the grinder, and then I'll just put it in the crock pot on low with some water until it's done, until it's got all the fat out of it, and then I scoop out the solids, what doesn't break down. It usually takes about a day. So I'm just cleaning up this fat and anything that was left inside. Mark butchered this one, so he left a little bit of the diaphragm in there. His hands are hard to get down into the cavity, so he always leaves them. But it's okay. So I'm just cleaning up the fat here. Yeah, we did do a video on soap making. I think we used the deer fat though, and I think I maybe talked a little bit about the rabbit fat. And then I clean up, these are, I think they're glands and stuff around the neck. It looks like fat, but it's like a grayish color, so I always just get rid of it and I don't save that. What I have off screen that you guys don't see is I have a bowl in ice water for any of the trimmings that I'm going to save for sausage. I have a bowl of stuff that I'm not going to save, like you'll see when I take the loins off. There's a chunk of silver skin that I'm not going to keep, and that will go in that bowl. And I have another bowl with the reserved fat. So yeah, there's just 3 bowls that I just keep in front of me when I'm doing this, and then I also have a tray that I usually keep beside me so that I can put my cuts on it. So I start by removing these front legs here. Now, rabbits and most 4-legged mammals have what's called a floating collarbone, and you want to get that out. It's a little teeny tiny bone. It's that long. You can't see it because it's covered in meat, but it's about that long, and it connects like right here. So you want to get rid of it. We've almost chipped our tooth on it a couple times. So just make sure you get rid of that. And then there's usually a bunch of fat up and around these front legs too. These are called wings. We call them wings. You can cook them just like you cook chicken wings, obviously. Some people will bone these out and grind them up, but I don't. I will save them and we'll barbecue them whole, or we'll do like a simmer sauce with them or something. You see if I can get that little sternum out of there. It's not connected by bone on bone. It floats there, so it's just connected by tendons and stuff. It's a little teeny tiny thing. Where's my camera? There it is. So that goes into the junk. This little bit of gibbly that I pulled off, I'm going to cut off some of that bloody fat and put the good part in the grind, the bad part in the waste. And I'll show you what I got here. There's our 2 wings or front legs. From there, I will take off the tenderloins. They don't have very big tenderloins, and it doesn't take much effort to get rid of them. They usually just, you can kind of get your finger underneath there and peel them out. I don't save them, they go into the grind. They're not the greatest, and they're super, super thin, so anytime you cook them, they'll overcook easily, so I just grind them. Clean it up a little bit as I go, get rid of some more scraps. Okay, so let's flip them over. Now we're gonna take off, and I missed these when I was messing with them, so take some of that gunk off of there. Okay, so from there you can see where that thigh hits the loin right there. They have the pelvis goes right there, so I just come in there, just cut right along that, right along the back of the spine. And I will do that on both sides. Okay, so those are loosened up. Flip them over. I flip mine around a lot when I process them down. So hopefully that catches on this video and hopefully you guys understand. So what I did there is I just scored right in here a little bit to kind of expose that pelvic socket, and that one broke when I cut it. You can pop it or you can cut it out. I prefer to pop it, but it just kind of cut right out so easily. So, and then just cut along the end of that other side of the pelvis. Cut out and around. And there you go. There's a nice beautiful thigh. That's basically one meal for us. When I package these up, I will do 3 thighs per package. So I have one for Mark, one for myself, and one for Lillian. She'll eat a whole thigh now if I give it to her. So, and if she doesn't, we'll eat what's left. It's okay. Other side, just go the opposite direction. Right along that pelvis. Expose that joint and cut it out. It's so much easier to do one side than it is the other. I'm severely right-handed. So, bear with me. So, what I did there is I didn't get around that pelvis joint very well on this cut, so I do have like a little tag right here. So I'm just cut it off, that way it doesn't overcook or burn when I'm grilling it. And there we go. 2 thighs, done, finished. Okay, so from here, these are called the belly flaps. And it's really the only place, it's like the bacon. A lot of people use it for, because it's like bacon because it's layers of skin and layers of fat in there. So a lot of people use it for jerky and stuff. I don't. I grind mine. Not a fan of white meat jerky. Never have been. So those have been removed, and I will cut right up here over the neck down to the spine to separate the loin up there. And then I come right here in front of the pelvis on either side, and I cut through that loin down to the spine. And you go on either one side. I always do this one side first. Right down on the side of the spine, the vertebrae there. Pull back. Now, the structure of the spine is different at the top than what it is down at the bottom. Down at the bottom, it's got like a weird X to it. So I focus down at the bottom and then I work my way forward. So it's cut down, I pull it out and I expose it, and you'll be able to see those tendons right there. And I'm just gonna kind of lightly score right into it. Not going the whole way to the bone. I'm just kind of scoring that right now. And I'll show you why. Because it's like an X, so you want to hold your knife at an angle and go back towards that spine, so that way you're getting all of your meat. And then from there, just pull it down, pull that meat out, that loin away from the bone, and it'll kind of peel away on its own. You want to use your knife to keep the edge clean, but it really just kind of pulls away on its own, especially up here over top of the ribs. It will do more so. Pull away. So once you get it going, I usually just lightly score with my knife, like I said, just to kind of keep your cut clean and a smooth edge. Okay. And then I will leave this extra, they have another layer of muscle and stuff over top of that loin. I leave it on there, give a little cut to separate, and then we're going to clean up this loin a little bit. It's got this silver skin right here. Work your thumbs underneath of it, rip it with your fingers, and then cut that out. Now sometimes I will come and I'll take just this silver skin off, and that goes into my junk bowl. This goes into my grind. Okay, so from here on the inside of these loins, they still have a tendon or a silver skin right here. And if you leave it in there, which I used to do, it gets hard and it gets like kind of jiggly and gummy when you cook it, and your loins will curl up into like a C. So I've started taking it off, and I've been happier with it. Ooh, my knife is getting dull. It's like my 5th rabbit that I've done today, so my knife's getting a little dull. So right into the grind, because there's a decent bit of meat on it and it grinds out pretty easily. So it still has some silver skin on it, but this stuff breaks down when you cook it, and it doesn't affect, you know, mouthfeel, as long as you get rid of that top layer. So there's one loin. And then from here, working in the opposite direction, again, cut on the other side of that spine. Okay, peel your loin away, expose that tendon, and then just cut through that tendon lightly. Okay, back in there at an angle to get to the vertebrae, to the bone. Peeling away with your hands at the same time, and then back down all the way to the cutting board. Same thing up here, a little different. Pulling this away, and I'm pretty sure that can be left. Yeah, that can be left. Okay, cut through that. Okay, here's my loin. Again, this right here is that top layer of silver skin that you want to get rid of, and you can just get your thumb in there, pull it away from that loin. Cut it off. Separate the junk from what you want to keep. Junk, and that's grind. Okay, and then again, get rid of that line of tendons right there. There you go. And you can put a little cut up here. You can get rid of that top portion of loin. It does cook a little bit faster than the rest of this, so usually when I cook it, I'll pound this down a little bit and get it thinned out, and I leave this part alone. So from there, we still have a decent bit of meat on this carcass. I usually just cut it off and add it to the grind pile. And then I'll take my bones and I put them in the roasting pan to make stock. So clean them up. I don't usually bother with the rest of this meat right in here. It's not worth it for me to try to dig after it. But you can go crazy. You can do all the meat and the ribs, but I do not. Okay, and that is basically it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll show you guys how I debone my thighs also. Okay, so coming back to these thighs, We have found that we really prefer the boned out thighs. It just, meal wise, you can do so much more with them. We pound them, we roll them up, stuff them, make, you know, rabbit parmesan with them. Just trying to figure out how I want to go about doing this. So here's your hip, here's your you know, the joint on the pelvis right there, and it connects right here to the knee. So I'm going to make a cut right down in through here to try to expose that femur there. This meat down here isn't really worth it for me to save, so I usually just cut it off and add it to the grind pile. There's just, you know, it's like the shank of, you know, it's the shank, I guess. So there's a lot of tendons and stuff like that, so I just grind it. I don't bother with it. I mean, if I'm leaving the bone in, we eat it with dinner, but if I'm gonna cut it out, they don't pound out very well, so I usually just cut it off. Okay, expose that bone, and then I'll reach down in and pinch to pull that bone up, and then go back underneath of it with the knife to cut. And then do it on either side, all the way up to the top of that femur, where it connects to the hip. Okay, and then cut right there in front of the knee. This is weird, I've never done this on video, so trying to explain it as I go, I usually just do it. Never had to stop to think about explaining how to go about doing it, so sorry. Hope you guys understand what I'm saying, what I'm doing. And you can see it kind of thins out, like the muscle is just very, very thin right there over top of that knee muscle, or that bottom muscle on that bottom part of the leg. So there we go, separated it. And then for dinner, we'll go ahead, and what I usually do is I will cut this right here and butterfly that open, and then I'll kind of butterfly this open, and I pound them out. So it just helps get it a little bit thinner, a little bit easier on you. And then just cut the meat off of this. Add it to the grind, and then throw your leg bones in the roaster for stock. I'm going to cut off all those tendons right there and add them to the junk pile. And yeah, I can work to get that little bit of meat off of it. I'm not going to bother. It's not worth it for me. I'm just going to add it to the stock because it'll make even more delicious stock, so why not? I'm going to go ahead and do that again on this thigh. And again, find where your knee is, where you can usually look, the top right there where your where the kneecap is, and that's basically the line that you want to use to the top of that femur. Okay, get down there, expose the bone. It's giving me some problems. I can't find it. There we go. I got it now. Okay. Pinch it up, pull it away, work underneath of it on either side. There you go. Okay. And they do have a little kneecap in there, so just make sure, you know, you're not cutting that kneecap and getting that in with your meat. But there it goes. It's a big vein going down into the meat and through the thigh, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. A little chunk of fat that I missed earlier. These rabbits, man, this is the first time switching them over to the 18% protein feed, and they just have so much fat on them. A lot of people ask us what the best breed is to raise for rabbits, and I mean, there's no short answer to that. All different, as long as it's a good meat breed and the adults get big. Like my adults are 10 pounds, so obviously a mini Rex, you don't want to raise rabbits who the adult size is only 5 pounds for meat, because it's just going to take them till their adult age to get to that 5 pound. So I raise American chinchillas. It was a breed that we fell into, and a breed that I've just been very happy with. We've done several other breeds, but I just haven't been as happy with them as I have been with the chinchillas. So when I butcher, I usually bring 3 rabbits in at a time, because that will get, or 6 rabbits in at a time, because that'll give me 2 packages of thighs. That'll be 6 thighs, and I package them in groups of 3. And the loins I'll package in 6, because we'll eat 6 loins in one meal, and then the front legs I'll package in 6 also, because we'll eat 6 of those in one meal. But that's it. I'm gonna wash my hands and say goodbye to everybody. So let me wash my hands. Alright guys, I hope that was easy for you guys to follow along. If you have any questions, feel free to send us a message. We're on Facebook, Instagram, or you can comment here on YouTube. So I have here our meat all packaged up. You can see I have 1 package of thighs for dinner one night, 1 package of thighs for dinner another night, and I've got a package of loin and a package of bunny wings. So from 3 rabbits, I've got 4 nights of dinner. And then we also have our stock and anything that I have that I'm going to grind up to use for another night. So if you're new into raising meat rabbits, welcome to this crazy world. It's awesome, it's fun, it's so rewarding getting to raise your own meat and know where your food comes from. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out and ask us, let us know. I don't know everything, but I am always willing to help out with what I do know. So thanks for following along.